Good afternoon, Chinwendu. Thank you for agreeing to do this with us. We really appreciate you. For this edition of PR Woman of the Month, we have Chinwendu Ohakpougwu with us today. Thank you so much for joining us. The PR Woman of the Month is a feature whereby we celebrate women in Nigeria and in diaspora that is in public relations, doing amazing work. So in the profession, especially women that are just coming into the profession or actively wants to do public relations can actually look at these resources, get encouragement and direction and do better. So you're welcome to this edition of the PR Woman of the Month. So Chinwendu is an award-winning marketing, public relations and corporate communications expert with over 8 years of experience. Her career spans across diverse industries where she has delivered impactful results, built brands from scratch, managed crises, and repositioned corporate identities. Known for her strategic insights and leadership, Chinwendu has successfully led high-performing teams and crafted innovative campaigns that have increased market share and strengthened brand visibility. Some achievement is working with TrustBanc Holdings as the head of marketing and communications. She has spearheaded the development of TrustBanc brands from the ground up. She set up and led the marketing communications department, driving initiatives that targeted key customer segments, collaborating closely with HR. She contributed to reforming the company's culture to foster a positive and high-performing environment. She has also worked with the DLM Capital Group, Hilton and Hill and Newton Strategy, also known as H&K. She has also worked with MediaCraft to develop and communication strategies that elevated brand visibility. Some of our awards, she was honored among the PR Power List 2024. And she was also recognized as top 35 under 35 marketing communications professionals in Nigeria. Chinwendu continues to push boundaries in corporate communications and marketing, leveraging her vast experience to foster brand growth and deliver meaningful results across industry. She is currently pursuing an MBA in international business from Nextford University, and she's expected to graduate in August 2025. Once again, Chinwendu, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. So we just get right to it. Can you tell us how you got into public relations? Was it your dream? Was it something you love? So how did you start public relation? We are very eager to know.
So first of all, I'd say that I never was an art student. I actually did study computer school, and so obviously I've always been a science student. But when I left school, I discovered myself, and so I found out that I had a love for people and for speaking and communications and just opinions really in general. And so my first job really was with Sahara Reporters and working with Shore Omoyele. And I did that for, I guess, a year and 2 months thereabouts. And then I left. And so when I left, I just made a Google search to find out where people who leave journalism, where did they go to? What's the next thing for them? And Google says, in most of the answers that Google proves that people who leave journalism go to or transition to public relations. And so around that time, a friend of mine who works for Al Jazeera mentioned that Chimamanda was looking for a communications assistant. And, you know, I went through with interview, I was selected. So at that point, when I started working with her, it was like, it sort of like hit me that, oh, actually, I love this. I love working with people. I love shaping narrative and helping people or brand solve their, you know, their communications issues. And so after the projects I did or the time I spent with Chimamanda, I then actively sought to, you know, purposely get into public relations. And so I started to take up courses. I took up trainings, you know, all that stuff, and then fully transitioned to PR. And, you know, been doing it ever since, loved it, you know, moved to marketing also. Yeah, it's been very.
All right, thank you. That was very interesting. From computer science to public relations, that was an interesting switch. So, thank you for sharing that with us. We just want you to tell us some successful campaigns or projects you worked on at your different organization and your different roles. We know you it's in your bio, but we want to hear it directly from you.
Okay, I think that for me, one of the most impactful campaigns I've had to work on was during my time at Taylor Knowlton Strategies Nigeria, and working on the Visa Where You Shop Matters campaign. This was the pandemic. This was the lockdown. Small businesses were very heavily affected. And, Visa as a payments brand was concerned about that because, businesses use Visa for transactions, right? And so if people are in lockdown, how do small businesses make money? How does even Visa, make money? So Visa came up with a campaign to do two things: to get the community, to get people to support small businesses, and then also to kind of like push their own brand also, so it was a two-way results thing. And a lot of methods were executed. So we had to do lots of heavy storytelling, influencer marketing. There were even segments where Visa paid for trainings for small businesses, on how to sell online, how to ensure that people who are at home, and because again it was COVID, people are at home and on their internet are able to see products that are sold by small businesses, and then buy from them, or so there were trainings, there were influencer marketing campaigns, there were other activations. It was very, very impactful. I know small businesses who made a lot of sales, huge sales from just that campaign because of the way that Visa executed it. And so for me, even though it was a campaign that kept me busy because lots of activities, in fact, the team who were in the Visa PR account busy, but of course you could see that your campaign is affecting lives, in a time like COVID where literally everything was shut down. People were concerned about their future, revenues and all of that. Visa actually made this possible for small businesses, and again, small businesses are the heart of an economy, from an informal sector perspective. So it was really dope. A second campaign that I think really interesting campaign that I've worked on would be when DLM was going to digital marketing. DLM plays in the capital market space of Nigeria, and pretty much there aren't a lot of investment banking firms that go out into digital banking, and so it was amongst the foremost ones doing it. And so the campaign, however, it didn't go as well as I wanted it to go, because again we were limited by resources and a couple of other external factors. But yeah, the launch of Sofri Digital Bank was one of the things that I think I'm most proud of. So that and Visa's Where You Shop Matters campaign of 2020. Yeah.
All right. Thank you for sharing that. I think the Visa one really got me because one of the joy of doing public relations is you see the impact on people's life, and you see that I'm doing something great that is really touching the lives of others. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that. We also want to know how you collaborate with other teams or departments within your organization. So are you able to align your PR strategy with the broader business goals?
Okay. I think that this is really important because more often than not, investors or senior management or even like C-suite guys, the rest of the management team tend to think, especially people in finance and accounting, tend to think or look at PR teams, marketing teams as really like the expense units of the organization. And so oftentimes, more often than not, really, you have to defend, what you say you need, your resources, your campaigns, everything really. And so I think that from like even ideation to putting together your strategy, you should collaborate with people. I think that when people from the onset get to know what you want to do and get to understand early, then, so you actually infuse other units into what you want to do, then, it becomes easier. Life is really easier, in the long run. So, for instance, I mean, away from even collaborating with IT and collaborating with, finance and collaborating with what other team is there now, with sales, or business development, because again, these are units that you have to work with for even the success of your own campaigns, or even like to ensure that your team contributes to the bottom line of the organization. You owe it to yourself to sort of like explain or report how what you're doing contributes to the organization's general bottom line. And so you must carry along, especially if you work in finance or you work in a financial organization, carry along investors, carry along your C-suite members, carry along, compliance, control, IT, sales, business development. So collaboration is really important. And I think that, like I said earlier, the earlier that you infuse everybody into what you're doing, life is easier for you, because a lot of times these people don't understand what you're doing. They just see it as, oh, we're making noise, or oh, we're trying to spend money, but when you say to somebody that, oh, that press release that we put out yesterday, so and so number of people viewed it, and as a result of viewing that, they went to our website, they checked us out on social media. Somebody even said, oh, they saw a product that they liked and reached out to sales. That sort of, detailed narration is really important. And it's not just collaborating for the sake of collaborating, so it's got to be detailed. It's got to be, you've got to infuse them early and just keep everybody abreast of what is going on. So at points where you get into management meetings or ESCO meetings, show them with reports, with facts that, this is what your team is about, this is what you're doing, this is how you're contributing to bottom line, and then they begin to see you as not just an expense unit.
That is really true, because I went to the Lagos Digital PR Summit, and one of the speakers highlighted this part of making sure that the CEO, the CFO, everyone in top management is aware of what you're doing at every point in time, because it makes the work easier and it saves you a lot of stress. Because not when you're doing a strategy for them and they are coming back like, this is not our message, where did you get this from? Did you inform us before doing this? So
Absolutely.
yeah, it's very important. So thank you for sharing that with us. We also want to know the most challenging part of working in public relations and the communications industry, especially as a female practitioner. What are some of the challenges you've experienced as a female in public relations?
I think that's a lot. I will start first by saying that I started heading a team at age 26. So at age 26, I was, comms head at DLM. And so going into an investment banking space, that age, heading a team. In fact, I had people who were like way older than me, who were part of my team, were reporting to me, was a very interesting time. So I faced a lot of criticism from even like my age. People were offended that I was young and heading a team. People also didn't exactly think I was capable of heading a team, handling what comes with a team, and actually doing my work. There were also people who felt that why is a pretty woman, in charge of this role? Because I'm not the sort of person who downplays my prettiness. I mean, if you see me, you know that I dress well, I look my best, and I'm going to show up my work. And, having worked with Chimamanda, that's one thing I learned from her. Chimamanda is sort of woman that says to you, the fact because you're pretty doesn't mean you have to downplay your looks to fit into certain roles. And so you find that women who are in certain positions, especially in leadership positions, tend to not dress so fashionable so that they're taken seriously. That's stuff that Chimamanda will say to you doesn't work, and she's just not buying into that idea. And so those were challenges that I faced head on. So I had to prove myself in so many ways that I was capable. Ordinarily, I'm sort of person who doesn't kiss ass, so people saw that early on, and so people saw it also that, okay, this babe knows what she's doing. So far her work speaks for her. She when she says she's going to come through for stuff, she's going to come through. Her strategy is correct. When she actually executes stuff, we see the results. And so oftentimes I say to women that we just need to to just show up, right? Because when you come into a leadership position as a woman, if a man, is expected to do X, you're expected to do XXX, 3 times what he's doing, because of, again, all this, typical stereotypes that go with working as a woman in certain places. So I'm not just a woman working in PR. I'm a woman who's working in financial communications, and in financial spaces, the stories are bizarre. It's tougher for women in financial spaces. So what I want to say to men, regardless of what you have to face or put up with as a woman in leadership positions, whether you're in PR or whatever career path you've chosen, always show up. Make sure that you know your stuff. If you don't know, please take trainings. Please get a mentor. Join some industry associations. Just equip yourself with knowledge, because there's nothing as painful as being a woman and working, towards, trying to climb the ladder and just not knowing anything, or just going by vibes. It actually even pisses me off, because then again, you're encouraging that stereotype or that, narrative about women, so just show up, do your work, empower yourself with knowledge. I don't care I don't care what your orientation is or what your style is, or whether you're ugly or you're pretty. Just know your stuff. If a man can come out and be bold and talk about certain things and be bold about his career, his job, I want to see a woman do that too, with 2 times more confidence, whether they call you arrogant or what. No ass kissing, no trying to what's the word now, pander to anybody. Just show up, do your work, be the best that you can be at what you're doing, and definitely you just find that, life gets easier, you get rewarded, you get promotions. People are going to sit around and ask, how is this babe getting so high? Oh, she's sleeping with somebody. She's not sleeping with anybody. She just knows her shit, period. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for actually sharing that, your personal story of being young. And I would say that it's very commendable, because even at your age, you didn't let what people were saying or the way people saw you put you down. You were very confident. And another thing you said that got to me, that if a man is doing X, a lady has to do XXX, because people are trying to always bring down our work. So thank you for for sharing that with us. And I believe that anyone that watches this will learn from this, that show up, do your work. If you know that you've not gotten the knowledge that you need, take trainings, look for mentors to mentor you. Don't allow people's thoughts or ideas or ideology about women in leadership position bring you down on, or just reduce the quality of your work. That really got to me. So. We just want to know how you stay updated with the latest industry trends, best practices in public relations. We know that public relations and communications, and you currently work in the finance industry. This time, there are always changes, things are always changing. It's a rapid industry. We just want to know how you stay updated.
Okay, so for me, I'm very big on knowledge. I'm very big on learning. So I'm sort of person who reads, and for me, staying updated on, what's happening in my industry is pretty breezy. First and foremost, as you know, I'm a member of several comms and marketing associations. So there's the Nigerian Women in Public Relations, there's Comms Avenue, there's She Marketers, there's the NIPR, just several of them really. and I'm active members in these different associations. And also, I intentionally take training. So every year, I say to myself, I must take at least 2 trainings every year in the field that I'm practicing. So whether it's certifications or diplomas or whatever, I just know that I'm adding something new. And so there's a certification that I'm going to take that's different from what I did last year. So that's what I do. Then thirdly, I follow for the part of financial services. I ensure that I subscribe to the newsletters of all the regulators in my industry. So there's the CBN, there's the SEC, there's FMDQ, all of these guys. I subscribe to all their newsletters, and so I stay updated with what's going on. Also, I follow all financial influencers, whether they're on Instagram or they're on Twitter or they're Facebook or LinkedIn. People who play in the financial space, as whether it's like a regulator, a board member, or whatever they are. I just follow them and actively ensure. So I actually turn on notifications for these things. So the moment they tweet or they put out anything, I know about it. And in fact, sometimes, because we at work, we have a senior management group chats, which I'm a part of. And I can't remember we're talking about Aradel's stock price. So one of the EDs posted something about it on that group chat, and then I commented, and it's like impressive, really. And then in fact, I think 2 days later, it then comes to me to say, how do you know that? Do you have a degree in finance? Did you study anything finance related? I said, no, I know I work in PR, but then this is the industry that I play in, and so it's important to me that I have to know what's happening, And it's like really impressive. It's never seen that before, especially from a woman, And that's my ED. That's somebody I report to. So imagine, getting that sort of compliment from him. He's somebody who, So I think that it's you cannot not constantly improve yourself. So whatever industry you play in, make sure that you know what's happening in that industry, and there's something that PR people do that really offends me rather. So a lot of PR people just stick to the side of PR, and so they really know what's happening in PR, but in the industries that they work in, they don't know. So you're a PR person in oil and gas. What's happening in oil and gas? If I say to you now, what company, bought what company in oil and gas, do you know? You work in FMCG, you don't even know what's happening in FMCG. You don't even know, you work for Coca-Cola, you don't even know what your share price is. You don't know anything, So it's wrong. Oh. The fact that you're in comms does not mean that you forget about the industry that you play in. That's how, business leaders in an organization also weigh in on whether you're capable enough to then proceed to maybe like senior management roles or a director role or whatever, because they need to see that you also take the business sides, very seriously, and not just your comms role, because at the end of the day, everybody's concerned about business goals, bottom lines, and all of that, real impact, sales impact, business development impact, all of that bottom line. And it's little things that let them know that you think things like this serious. So knowledge is very important. I think that everybody should take out time to invest, in knowledge.
Thank you for pointing that out about knowing what is happening in the industry playing. Yes, you do public relations, but if the agency side, when you're doing media monitoring for people that do media, they just focus on what's happening in the news. Other than that, they don't really bother to check daily happenings. We just want to know news mentions. But what you just shared is, I would say it's a professional advice that we do not really hear very often. For people to also know what is happening in the industry that they work in. So if you have clients that is in tech, FMCG, energy, what is happening in that space? I think this is one advice that every public relations professional should take very serious. Know what is happening. So when they're having a discussion in the room, like you're eating, me too, I was just smiling, like really, because somebody that is doing finance and you connected, the person be like, wow.
Exactly.
I was like, wow. Yes, and it makes you stand out. Like it's Yeah, that was a great one. Well done. Me, as I'm talking to you after this call, I'm going to turn on every notification so that me too, I'm also
You
updated. So
better.
yes, yes, thank you for sharing that. That really got to me because yes, thank you. So for our last question, you've shared a lot of advice. For me, what you've been saying, these are personal things that everyone that works in PR can relate to and can pick from it and actually say, if I do this, my career will be better. But want to know more advice you give to people that are just starting, entry level, people that are just starting their public relations career, that hope to climb the leadership role. We know you said knowledge is important, taking certifications and training, but what other advice will you give to them? For me, now that I'm saying that I want to be like you, I want to be on the top 35 under 35. I want to be able to bring value to any
Yeah.
organization I'm part of as a PR practitioner. What advice will you give to that person?
So there's this thing that I see that a lot of young people do these days, and I don't think is right, regardless of whether you're PR or not. And I think I want to correct that. So I find that a lot of young people go on LinkedIn and they try to package themselves into what they're not. So essentially say that, oh, you're this leader and that leader. Whereas in real life, there's no substantial work or experience to back that up. And what that does is that you get inflated with ego and so many things all up in your head. And eventually you don't bring yourself down to do the work. And so for me, my advice is this: take the time to do the work. Visibility, recognition, and all of that will come when it will come. If you have to do internships, go and do internships. If you have to, and I'm going to take myself an example. When I was working with Sahara reporters and I left to transition to PR, I actually took a pay cut. My salary, the next job after Sahara reporters, was way lower than what I was taking at Sahara. But it was intentional. I knew I had to do it. I knew it was a phase. I knew it. I just had to do it to get to where I want to be. And so young people need to take the time to actually put in the work. You can't come out fresh out of school and you're a leader in tech or you are some business. No, now, how? Come on. So take internships for PR people. I usually advise start off with the agency side because it just exposes you and your mind to a lot of skills, whether it's media relations or it's social media. It just exposes you because if you start off with the brand side, you're going to be limited. You're going to learn either a combination of a few skills, right? But at the agency side, you're going to work on different clients in different industries, working different skills, and oftentimes they usually rotate between departments. So if you're in media relations today, you probably go to strategy tomorrow, copywriting the next day, end of the day you're an all-rounder. And that's what helped me really, because agency helped me to be an all-rounder. So now that I'm a leader, I head teams, I can literally do anything. Nobody in my team can say that there's anything that they're doing that I cannot do. If you quit tomorrow, I'm fine. If you decide to say, oh, you're sick, you're not coming to work, I'm good. If you're writing for series, I'll write it. Really, right? So take out time. I say to young people, take out time, learn, immerse yourself in learning. Just use your development stage and time to just learn and grow. And then as you're learning, also, do PR for yourself. So, for instance, you're in the agency side, and say you go for your client, or Mastercard is your client, for instance, and you go for an event. You're the agency's representative at that event. Showcase yourself on LinkedIn. Speak about it from your own perspective, right? Show the world what you're doing, so people see that gradual growth over time and can attest to it and can actually see it. Then someone notices that and could actually reach out to you for a job or for some gig or for a tax or whatever. But don't just overbloat yourself into something that you really are not. So two things I would say: just put in the work early, so that when you are supposed to get into leadership positions, you actually get them you know, dutifully, like you get them rightfully. You're not, you didn't have to bribe to get there or ask kiss somebody or some funny shit, you know. So, and then as you're doing that, also make sure that you're doing PR for yourself, because that's a lot of things that's something that a lot of us in PR don't do. We don't actually do PR for ourselves. Even PR agencies don't even do PR for themselves. We're so focused on the clients and on everybody else that we don't promote ourselves. We don't do visibility for our own self, So, be big on promoting yourself, be big on speaking about your work, showcase yourself, whether it's on WhatsApp or on LinkedIn or Twitter or something, which is something I like about Tulu, you know. Everywhere I go, like LinkedIn, Twitter, Tuli's was speaking about her little experiences, or she's there, a client said this, da 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 da. That's how you get businesses, that's how you get value, that's how you feel like you have a purpose, a calling, right? So those are two things that I think I have to say. Once you put in the work, definitely you'll be rewarded with more work, more money, and obviously you get to climb the ladder. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much for sharing. For me, it's the way you say things, the way you just say it, the way it is. It's really it's a great skill. I think because people try to sugarcoat words, but it's the way you say it. We can also see on LinkedIn that somebody, oh my God, somebody that just started working is leading projects, and you are shocked, like, wow, when did this happen? Yes, people do that a lot on LinkedIn, and some of them will say fake it till you make it, but it's not really the point, because I can tell you a story. Somebody said he wanted to give somebody a job, but he went to his LinkedIn, saw the post the person was making, like it was leading teams and stuff, and said, I cannot afford this person, not knowing that this person just started his career as a project manager. So they met us at an event. They were just speaking. I said, you just packaging, but people are looking at you and they're thinking that you are high up there. So
Yeah.
thank you for sharing. That's all the questions we have for you today. We don't know if you have any last words, or if not, we'll just end the interview.
Okay, I think my last words would be that I know that, yes, it's actually tough right now as a young person. Nigeria is really messed up, and I'm saying that, we all know that. But I really want to encourage every young person out there. I know that it's actually the wrongest of times to be a young person. And my heart goes out to, Generation Alpha or Gen Z. I don't know, how they're doing. But I think that regardless, education is still the greatest equalizer. And to encourage everybody, get education in whatever shape or form that you want to get it. If you're able to, whether it's a BSc or, just even little certifications here and there, it's important. Knowledge is, you cannot underestimate the value, the power of knowledge. And I will continue to emphasize, get knowledge, get it early. And, the sky is your limit. Ensure that you get knowledge and really practice what you do. Because it's one thing to actually get knowledge. It's another thing to actually have the willpower, the mental strength to practice what you have learned, to put it to use. So I really want to encourage every young person out there. Times are hard, everybody feels frustrated and demoralized, because really you put in so much work. There's the output or the the results in real time, and what you're able to do with your life is just not commensurate. But I want to encourage all of us to take knowledge serious, take training serious, take education serious. It could be the next game changer for you. It could just be what you need to just level up, really. Continue to improve yourself, and definitely reward is going to come some way, somehow, but definitely it will come. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chinwendu. Really appreciate you. Thank you for your time. And this is the end of the interview. Thank you so much. I had fun speaking with you, and I myself have learned a lot. So thank you so much. Do enjoy the rest of your day.
You too. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.